Okay, we are back. So excuse like these things that you see here. So today we are going to do question 3, chemistry. Under physical properties, we are going to do the property of boiling point. So yeah, let's get into it. So before we get into it, this is what I would like you guys to actually memorize. So we know that your triple A has your alkane, alkene, alkyne, like your London forces. Then this is dipole, 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 dipole forces. It's your haloalkane, aldehyde, ketone, and ester. And then your hydrogen bonding forces are alcohol and carboxylic acids. Okay, let's get into it. So here they say define the term boiling point. So I'm not going to write that down, but we should know these definitions. So boiling point is the point in temperature whereby the vapor pressure of a substance is equals to the atmospheric pressure, which is like the external pressure. But then yeah, 3.2 in the investigation above, name the independent variable. Okay, so let's read what they said. During an investigation, a table of data was collected for 4 organic compounds A, B, C, and D. The compounds have different functional groups. So now what we know about independent variables are that they are the variables that are always changing. So what was changed? From the statement already, I can see that I've already have my 1 mark. Here, they gave me the compounds have different functional groups. So my independent variable is functional group. So it's 3.2.1. It's a functional group. Functional group. My independent variable. 3.3. Okay, so let's identify these compounds first. So this is an alkane. To be specific, it's a pentane. And then this is an aldehyde. To be specific, it's a butanol. And then this is a carboxylic acid, which means it's a propanoic acid. And then this is a ketone. It's a butan. Yeah, it's a butan 2-one. Oh, why did I say that? Now I gave you guys the answer to one of these questions. But then yeah, it's cool. Okay, guys. So yeah, it's a butanone. So 3.4. Oh, 3.3. Sorry, I almost skipped. So they say explain the trend in boiling points among A, B, and C as shown in the table above. So we need to check out these boiling points. So for the alkane is 36,1. For the aldehyde 74,8 degrees Celsius, and for the ketone 79,64. So now this is where you need to go back to your table that you will memorize. So we are going to use the ICE method. It's the ICE method. Yes, it's the ICE method. We are going to talk about the intermolecular forces found in those compounds, and then we are going to compare those intermolecular forces, and then we are going to explain about the energy, and then we are going to conclude. As you can see, it's 4 marks. So let's start our ICE method. So let me identify. Compound A has weak London forces, and then compound B has dipole forces, and compound C also has dipole forces, but the dipole forces in compound C are stronger than those in compound B. So meaning out of the three, these are the strongest intermolecular forces. So guys, I don't want to write it down, but let me try to write it down, because even though I'm lazy, but I have to help you guys. All right, guys. So yeah, I just wrote that down as I said. So compound A has London forces, and compound B and C have dipole forces. However, the dipole-dipole forces in compound C are stronger than those in compound B. So here's what I'm saying, guys. Compound A, it's an alkane, so it has London forces. But compound B and C, they have the same forces, type of forces, which are dipole-dipole forces. However, the dipole-dipole forces of the ketone, compound C, are stronger than those of the aldehyde in compound B. So remember your LDDHB. Lerato drinks dry Hennessy, if you would love to put it that way, so you can easily memorize. So we just did the first point, which was the the ICE method. So now we are going to compare. Oh, we did compare. Yeah, we did compare, because we said which ones are stronger, which ones are weaker. So now we are going to talk about the energy. But don't write it like me, guys. Write it in point form in Benito. And even don't skip the margin, because you will get penalized, or it will be not neat, something along those lines. But let's get into it. So as we were still in this question of explaining the trend in the boiling points as shown above, now we are going to talk about the energy. More energy is required to overcome the bonds in compound C than in compound than in compound B and A. So as we can see, guys, what I've just said there, here is the proof. Compound C really does have the highest boiling point, meaning more energy is required to overcome. So if you don't want to put it in this way, you can say compound A requires less energy to overcome its bonds than compound B and C, because as we can see, it has the lowest boiling point. So yeah, this is quite evident, as you can see. But then if you took that route, there would be no problem. But then if you took that route, your conclusion will be different. So here's my conclusion. Now I conclude. Compound C has the highest boiling point. Simple as that. I've got my 4 marks. It has the highest boiling point. But then if I use the other statement that I just told you about, I would say compound A has the lowest boiling point. You see, I just concluded. So 3.4, which compound, C or D, would have the lowest vapor pressure? Okay, guys. So vapor pressure, why did I write it like this? So vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point, which means the higher the boiling point, the lower the vapor pressure. The lower the vapor pressure, the higher the boiling point. Same as the melting point. So as you can see, which one has, they said which one would have the lowest vapor pressure. I checked the boiling points. It would be D, compound D, the carboxylic acid. It would have the lowest vapor pressure, because as we can see here, it is the highest boiling point, and we said they are inversely proportional. Okay, 3.5.1, the phase of compound A at room temperature. Okay, so guys, when we are talking about room temperature often varies from 20 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. So here, what they told us, they said it starts to boil. Compound A starts to boil around 36.1 degrees Celsius, and we say the room temperature is around 20 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. So it would be at liquid phase. definitely at liquid phase. Write down the structural formula of the functional group of B. All right. Right, the structural formula of the functional group. Be careful, they say the functional group of B, which is an aldehyde. So this must be the structural of the aldehyde. Forgive my handwriting, guys, because we know the aldehyde is actually at the terminal, but some people like to, because guys, the only difference between an aldehyde, oh, and did you know an aldehyde doesn't have a position, so you can't say butan 1 al, no, because it's always at the terminal carbon, at the last carbon. So we draw it this way, but I've seen some people do it this way to represent. I don't know, is this right? You can tell me in the comments. I don't know, because I've seen some people do it like this, but yeah, this is the structure. Write down the EUPAC name of compound C. Oh wow, compound C. As you can see, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want me guys to do, yeah, but let me draw it. So it is 4, which means the parent chain is a but, and I've already established it's a ketone, so it's going to end with one. So now if I could draw the structure just to show you guys how it would look, this is how it would look. This is how it would look. So as you can see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. To show you guys how it would be, you must also include your hydrogens. So as you can see, the carbon is bonded 4 times. Each carbon is bonded 4 times here, guys. So that is very key. And then we name from the side that is closest to the functional group. So in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. What is our parent chain? Our parent chain it's a but, so it's a butan 2-one. At this case, in order to make sure that it does make sense, when you close here, it should be able to be one thing, and you should be able to say butanone. Because what if you said but 2-one? When you close, it doesn't make sense. What's a butone? I don't know a butone, unless if it was an alkene, then in that case you could have said butene, not butanene. No, it has to make sense when you close the middle number. But then guys, yeah, this was the end of our session today about the intermolecular forces and the physical properties of organic compounds. Thank you guys.